It's been a while since I've sat down and talked candidly about my music journey. Sure, I've been doing a bunch of videos about me getting gigs and all the new songs I'm releasing, but when I originally created this channel and this playlist, Reflections of a Full-Time Musician, the goal was to sort of document the journey as I went through various stages of being a full-time musician. You can check out in the past, I've done 3 months as a musician, 6 months as a musician, and 1 year as a musician. And now I've been in LA for just over a year and a half. So, what is going on with me and what's it been like? Well, I knew this year wouldn't be easy. When I moved out to LA, literally all I thought was, okay, let me just try doing music full time for a year and see what happens. I didn't necessarily think I was going to extend that plan. I didn't really know what was going to happen. I basically fully anticipated losing money and then having to get a regular job. But over the course of that year, I learned a lot. And through gigs specifically, I am able to support myself and keep doing music, which is something amazing that I never anticipated. And this year, I've been making more money than ever. Now, I'm not rolling in dough or anything, but it's enough to sustain me on my journey. And it begs the question, well, if I am able to support myself doing this, why would I stop? But this is a long journey, and that's what I knew going in, and especially this year, something that's been on my mind. I think I was a bit naive in the first year of how quick I guess you could blow up or get big as a musician. And now I see that even though there's lots of cases of artists going viral and all of that stuff with TikTok, in reality, a lot of those people that are overnight successes, they were working at it for many, many years. I saw a cool statistic about like every person who's won a Grammy or something, like on average, it was 7 years before they had like a breakout hit or something like that. So the truth is, it's a long haul. So on paper, I'm definitely doing better than last year. But I think sometimes it's hard for me to realize that or comprehend that or whatever perspective I'm taking on this. It's definitely been an issue this year, I would say. It's when I was just had this goal of 1 year, let me go all out, let me do all of this stuff, song a month, all of this. It was like, okay, I have a clear goal, clear deadline. And honestly, everything I've ever done in my life, I've had a deadline for, whether it was 4 years of college, a 6 month internship at Business Insider, or a seasonal summer job working for the National Park Service. Like, it's always been a deadline, and I've always known I can move on to something else. I can keep things interesting, and I'm someone who likes to be on the move. But with this music thing, it's not like that. It is in it for the long haul, and it takes its toll on you. Now, last year, I would say the highlights were I released a song a month, I released an album, I was able to find the formula for getting gigs, and by the second half of the year, I was able to get consistent gigs where I was making money, and I had like an album release show, and I was able to collaborate with a lot of artists. So basically, I checked off everything on my box. And I would say this year, I probably haven't checked off all my goals, but it's because I've made more goals for myself. I've made hard goals for myself. And, when you have that goalpost that keeps moving every time you get to it, that can be frustrating. And that's something I have to work on. But here's the pros of this year. Like, I am making way more money than last year, and I'm way more consistent with the gigs and booking gigs. That's first and foremost. The past like 2 months, I've had 15 gigs a piece. I had started booking for the new year back in November, and so like by the time I started year two out here, or whatever, after 1 year of coming back out here, I already had like 30 gigs lined up for January, February, March, and now I'm pretty much coasting until August, and I got a couple dates down for the fall, but I'm trying to get more to fill out the year. And the nice thing about having these gigs and booking them in advance is like now it is in some ways like a steady job and a consistent thing, because the hardest thing about doing music and doing it all yourself and being an independent artist is the inconsistency and where your payments coming from and how you're living day to day. And so having these gigs on the book and knowing, okay, I'm set for the next 3 months, like guaranteed income, like that's a great feeling. And I truly feel like I've mastered the getting gigs format. And if you're interested in learning how to book gigs for yourself, you can check it out here. I got another video that I'm going to link, I guess, in the description, not up here. And if you're interested as well, I also sell a list of all the venues in LA and San Diego. You can DM me or leave a comment about that, and I'll get back to you. So gig wise, I'm doing better than ever. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's enough in some ways, because what this is allowing me to do is that when I'm not doing gigs, I'm able to fully focus on music and be creative all of the time that I'm not doing the gigs. It's not like I'm working a part-time job or a full 9 to 5, but I'm still making money to pay for rent, to, pay for gas, to pay for food, all of this stuff. And then still have like half of the month or over half the month to just be working on music, to work on original stuff. And I think that is invaluable and priceless, and something that I am constantly reminding myself is why it's worth it to keep doing music and to stay out here. On the original songwriting front, I would also say I am very happy with how it's going. It just hasn't been reflected maybe in my releases. I think I've written some of my strongest material to date. I have ideas for EPs and albums. I think the instrumentals are sounding immense and really full, and some of the best production I've ever had. But a lot of these songs are still in the works, so I haven't quite released them. I've only released 2 songs this year, and we're in May. Well, I'm about to release 3. I basically came to the realization that this year I don't want to do a song a month. And I think anyway, 6 to 8 weeks, that seems to be the case of like what you should actually be doing as a release strategy if you want to be consistent. Like 1 month isn't enough time. It doesn't give each song its time to shine. And it's also very hard on me as a musician and producer and doing it all myself to get it out there. So I'm aiming more for 6 to 8 weeks, but I'm really not stressing it. Honestly, a lot of the holdups have been I've been like trying to do a bunch of collaborations and coordinate different people's schedules, and that takes time. So I'm not worried about not releasing as consistently, but I am eager to get out all of these amazing songs that I have, because I truly think they are my best work. So it's just been, I guess, a little frustrating knowing I have all this stuff and like there's only so many months and so many things you can release. It's a lot to handle, but there's that. Honestly, one of the biggest setbacks this year has been I've just kind of been sick on and off. Like right before I came back out here in January, in the month of December, I had some sort of sinus infection. I don't know. And then in January, I came down with the flu, and that really set me back for a good 3 weeks. I was just sick, and I also had to cancel gigs. The hardest thing about being a singer and using your voice is the voice is finicky. It needs to be taken care of. And when you're sick, it's game over, is what I realized. So that was extremely frustrating. And I learned a valuable lesson there, because I did try and do a gig when my voice was not healed and ended up losing my voice for a couple days. And then the road to recovery in terms of being able to sing and do gigs again took even longer. Now, on top of that, I was better for like a month, and then most of April and a lot of May, I've been sick with something else. It's another sort of sinus infection thing, perhaps. I'm not sure quite, but it's been affecting my voice, and I can't be able to record. I've been, doing all I can in terms of instrumentals and that sort of stuff, but it's hard because I rely on my voice for so many things. The positive of, I guess, being sick all this time is that I had to adapt. And lately, when I have been really sick, the gigs I've been doing fully instrumental, where I use like a loop pedal and basically do instrumental covers, playing like the melodies on guitar. And that's really opened up a lot of doors for me, both in how I structure my own gigs and what I can see myself doing in the future. First and foremost, like I love singing and I want to be singing, but I am better at guitar in my opinion. I've been doing it longer, and it feels extremely comfortable, and I could see myself doing just the instrumental sort of stuff for weddings and private events where I wouldn't necessarily feel confident enough yet with my singing abilities. I also think that when it comes to just doing my regular gigs, if my voice is getting tired or I just want to structure the gig differently, I can now incorporate instrumentals. It's really been helping me be a lot more thoughtful in how I structure the solos, so I'm not just like riffing and jamming. So there has been that positive. The thing with getting sick a lot though has made me question, like, am I pushing myself too hard? Am I taking the sustainable route? Because look, it's the first year that I was doing this, I was going all out, no rest, just constantly working on music. And I did question if that was sustainable. I think it was easy enough to do for a year, but now we're in the long haul once again. And I don't know, this year I've taken a lot more time to prioritize having fun. I go to the park almost every other day and read. I've been going on hikes with friends, going to the beach. I've been binge watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my friend, been catching up on some movies I've wanted to see. So I'm definitely carving out space to relax. And partially I've had to, just because I've been sick and not able to do everything that I wanted to do. But I think there are still things I could be doing to take better care of myself, but it's a hard balance to strike. I think all musicians and independent artists struggle with that. And, if you have any suggestions or comments on how you like to balance your musicianship and your life and stay healthy, I'm very curious, so let me know in the comments. But yeah, I would say basically this year has kind of been, what I was expecting, like the the golden view and like all this youthful enthusiasm I approached the industry with, has sort of faded a little bit. Obviously, I'm still very passionate about what I'm doing, but again, knowing that this is a long road, it's about pacing yourself and settling back. Also, inherently, now this is a job for me. I am consistently doing gigs, I'm showing up, I am performing, and it is essentially the equivalent to having a job. And a lot of things that people fear when they try and get into this industry or don't get into the industry is because they don't want their passion to feel like a job. They don't want to feel like they're just going through the motions. And I wouldn't say that's happened with me. I'm still very much in love with music. And for me, just whenever I think about, oh, I'm getting paid to play music, I'm getting paid to like travel to beautiful places, like it never gets old for me. So even if I have one or two off gigs or gigs where I'm like, oh, I'm not really feeling it, I think overall I haven't had that feeling of being fed up with music or wanting a break from it. On the contrary, I've just been writing more, producing more, and excited to get all of these releases out there. I've also been trying and need to work more on diversifying revenue streams. I was going through a period of reaching out to producers, just trying to track guitar in the studio, be more of a session guitarist, either for live shows or in the studio. I'm still working on that, but I've messaged some local producers. I've been kind of researching who are people in the area, just making my name known, putting myself out there. I've also been trying to open up for some artists. I think I'm probably reaching too big in some cases. The interesting thing is, like, I've heard back from like a lot of artist managers, and the thing is, usually I guess by the time they announce the gig and like I see that they're going on tour, like they already have their opening act in place. So it's been, on one hand, very cool to see that I think it is possible to open for people, but I still need to formulate and streamline that method the same way I do with booking gigs. And if I figure it out, I'll be sure to let you know. There's also some other bigger news in the works that I don't want to share quite yet. I'm having some success on some fronts and failures on the other end, so we'll see what happens. I think at the end of the day, I am very proud of myself and happy with where I am at, but I'm that type of person that always wants to be doing more, going farther. And this year has been all about finding balance, finding out what will work in the long term. So that's kind of where I'm at after a year and a half of living in LA. I still don't know what the future holds, what would come after this year, but right now it's working and I'm having fun doing it, so I'm just gonna continue doing it. If this video inspires you, teaches you anything, please give it a like, give it a comment, subscribe. I'm posting videos weekly on this channel, tutorials on everything under the sun, and I just launched my YouTube videos as podcasts as well, so like you could listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you wanted to. There's a link in the description. It's under the Just Make Music podcast. As always, thank you for listening, and see you around next time.